I'm your host, Jason Tartick, and welcome to Trading Secrets. We talk all things money on this podcast, and we're teaching all the stuff we just weren't taught in the classroom. Nothing supports this show more than liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing. So if you're watching this on YouTube, in the production studio, we had Wes Wilson, and our producers forgot to hit record for the intro. So right after the intro, you'll see the whole podcast. But because we don't have an intro on the YouTube, I'm just going to literally read you the exact introduction I said to Wes, and then we will go live right to the studio. So welcome back to another episode of Trading Secrets. Today, we are joined by the newest cast member of Bravo's hit reality TV show Summer House, Wes Wilson. Wes joined the cast of Summer House in the most recent season 8, where he became an immediate fan favorite by providing the right balance of being extroverted, wholesome, and authentic. During his time on the show, his storylines centered around new friendships, love connections, and his career, specifically being laid off from Bleacher Report and eventually landing a new career opportunity with Complex Networks. We are going to discuss his experience of being cast on the show, his plans to return for future season, and his unique career path. What was Wes like this season? He's going to give us a little teaser. How did he navigate being laid off? What job search is like at this point in his career, and what's next? Did he ever consider leaving New York City? Did he foresee reality TV in his future? And which commissioner of which sports team does he have some serious beef with? You're going to get all the career information, the personal information. We get into finances. This is an episode of Trading Secrets you can't afford to miss. Let's kick it right now, live to Wes in New York City. I'm going to get into your career before the show, before I do, because you're kind of touching on it a little bit here.
Yeah.
The new season is now airing. Well, how would you define, let's say in 3 words, you have to define what your character, what your edit will be in 3 words. What's your guess?
1, progress.
Ooh.
Which sounds wholesome, kind of.
That is wholesome.
2, spectator. One of my good friends on the show, we kind of like swapped, like, last year, I was kind of like learning like how to deal with the relationship in that house, and he did it this summer.
Okay.
And I tried to give advice, and like obviously it got messy for him, but it's really fun not being a part of it and getting to like watch other people fuck shit up in the house.
You get to watch the show and not be the show. You get to have the popcorn and not be on the screen.
So that's good. And then obviously just like fun. Like I think I mean, this isn't a secret, but I had a relationship last year.
Yeah.
That has ended. And so I wasn't sure how to navigate that, like entering the house.
Yeah.
And I always kind of like, I don't ever want to like come off as if I don't like care, like a huge dick or whatever. So I kind of like played it slow in the beginning and just tried to see how we would coexist. And then it kind of like, then we get into the fun. So the 3rd word is fun. It'll always be fun.
Yeah.
It's hard not to have fun when you're with your friends, like in a house that has a pool and you throw parties and stuff.
In the Hamptons, like that's...
Yeah.
It sounds like you grew a lot.
I think so. I mean, I just like, I'm someone who, I love group activities. I love gatherings. I love when people are together and like getting along. And when that's not the case, I feel uncomfortable. So I just like for everyone to be happy and together. And so we got there.
I like it. We're going to, this is a business podcast, so I always like to take elements of TV and like bring in the business side of it. Do you feel as though, because we've had like every single reality star from any show on, right? And this is always an interesting concept. Last year, you were in the mix. It's last season, you're in the mix. It sounds like this season, you've grown a little bit. You're a little bit more on the sidelines.
Yeah.
From a business perspective, do you ever think about the consequences that does to your actual brand on the show, what you're doing for ratings? Will you get renewed, things like that, if you're staying on the sidelines and not getting involved?
No, only because it's not that I'm not like a confrontational person by nature at all. Yeah. If anyone wants that god awful reunion I did last year, they could probably figure that out. So I think as long as you're sticking to like who you are, you shouldn't have any regrets towards that.
Okay.
But I kind of feel like, and this could be not true, but I've worked in like, I just feel like once you have people who like you and people who hate you, like I think no matter what I do or how I am perceived this summer, there are going to be people who hate me and people who kind of ride with me or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a product of kind of how maybe last year went. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I mean, I've only done this one time, so I don't know what the product or reception will be this summer. So I don't really know. Like, I don't know if I even know the answer to that. But
Yeah. Well, weren't there claims from like Sierra saying that maybe the relationship was to make a storyline, and then it's bringing it back to like the business side of the podcast
Yeah.
would be like, what then is the storyline for? Well, I guess the storyline is to create a significant splash. Like, what is your response?
no, I don't want. I had enough splashes last year. Like, I want a break. I'm still kind of like,
You're like,
because
I'm
you
done
live
with
it,
splashes.
you live it out, and then you don't get the feedback until 8 months later. So
That's true.
when we were going into this, like, I'm still kind of like very exhausted from how the last season ended. So no, I didn't go into that looking for anything. I wanted to just catch my breath and like enjoy my time with everybody.
Did you notice it all from like a business perspective that when things were going well, when it was airing, like business was coming in at a faster rate, and then when things weren't going well, opportunities were taken? Did that impact the actual business side of West?
Not really, only just because
No, that's fair, man.
Yeah,
That's the business.
it was
Cool.
good.
It's
And I
interesting to
mean,
know.
it's also, I think there's a lot of things as far as like business goes. I don't know. People do crazy shit on reality TV, and the outcry from us like not ending up together was kind of crazy, but like it was just like a little breakup. Like no one cheated or lied. Like it seemed like a big deal in the moment, but I think as far as business goes, there's not a lot on paper for people to be like,
right,
this guy's not suit to like, you know,
to
align with or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was a gradual build, and like it's still been growing since. So I mean, it's all way beyond anything I would have ever imagined.
Yeah.
Which is just funny because I need, like, I did the show, I got a voicemail, and the only reason I was checking my voicemail was because that was the day my severance ended from Bleacher Report.
Okay.
And they were like, hey, we're calling about a show, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I have no reason to not entertain this or see this through. Because if I was
crazy, it was the day severance ended.
Yeah. I was in Europe for a wedding, got home, and I was so like, holy shit, what's next? You know? And so I needed like my mom always jokes, people are like, how'd Wes get on Summer House? And she was like, he needed this summer job. He literally got laid off and his severance ended, so he needs something to do. And I was like, okay, let's try it out. And it all worked out.
You met Lindsay, right?
I met Lindsay at like a
bar or
dinner.
something, right? Dinner.
We were both at dinner at the same place, and then like ended up at the bar after. It's like just your classic New York story where people are like just drinking.
What do you think it was about you that she's like, yeah, I see something?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I didn't know who she was. So that, as far as like our connection or whatever, like I think obviously she knew I was just like a dude at the bar talking to her. And I don't know, we just kind of like fucked around. Lindsay is a very like a lot of like powerful energy.
Powerful. She's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
One of the things, we always do a recap. So my good buddy and I, we recap the episode. And he's like, man, of all the people we've had on, and we've had some big people, we've had some like Todd Graves, worth $9.2 billion, owns Raising Cane's. He's like, no one carries.
That guy's on every pod. That guy.
No, he's everywhere.
He does a lot.
He's just everywhere.
He
He's
was
like a marketing machine.
Yeah.
But he was like, no one's voice like carries confidence like hers. Like he's like, you could like it, you could love it. When she talks, you listen.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think I probably just met her with similar energy. I mean, I'm not like as brash probably as Lindsay is, but it was just like a random fun little like 45-minute encounter. And like
we
went our separate ways.
Were you taking shots?
We were definitely taking shots, but I think I had I think I was going on a Hinge date after or something like that.
Okay.
And so I had time to kill, and I don't know where she was going, but it was so random. And yeah, it was just like a nice little interaction. And then that was it. I mean, the story's like kind of long, but we were talking about, I somehow brought up that I was at Bleacher Report, and she was like, I have this idea for a sports podcast, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, don't steal this and take it to Bleacher Report. Like, it's my idea, but if we can ever like do it, let's do it. She made me sign a bar napkin that said,
stop it.
She wrote out her podcast
she made
idea.
a contract.
And I signed,
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's on my phone.
So where is the idea? Is anyone taking it?
The idea was like a guy and a girl host a podcast, and the girl is not trying to keep up with the guy. It was meant to like be sports, like sommeliers in the male,
Yeah.
and then girls who are new to sports, and like explaining it in real time on podcast. I think I'll try to find the napkin for you.
I like it. We're going to find that napkin. Lindsay came on this podcast, and it was like a clip that went viral where she talked about the contracts for summer house.
I saw that.
Yeah, we set it up, right? So the first and second, and third. So can you confirm like that is exactly accurate? Like your first season, you were paid what they were, and then your second season, it's the same jump?
I don't know, and I don't want to. I try not to like ask people about whatever they're making because just like, who cares? Then things get weird. Anytime.
Yeah. Talk to me. Like
involved.
that's a huge topic of this podcast, financial transparency, and everyone has a different opinion. So like, why is that your opinion?
I mean, I think probably because black and white, that's how you are valued comparatively to your castmates or whatever. But I mean, I do think it is tenure though. Like, because I think a lot of the comments are like Paige probably makes the most, right? Because she's got the most reach.
Most
like
of the comments were like, "There's no way Paige is making the same as what she should be."
But if they have it in their like contract that it's just like it's just gradual, then it probably is that. It's not like Paige needs to make an extra $2K an episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do it just fine.
I know that the people who have been there from the beginning like certainly make way more than like Jesse and I do.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that it was just like it was linear. But I mean, maybe it's not. I don't know.
I assume you're making way more in brand opportunities than you get paid on the show.
Yeah. And so that's why I don't think anyone.
This assumption's right. I'm assuming at this point you're probably making more in brand opportunities than you are at your current job.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
So,
but that's good. I mean, Complex has been so dope in the way they've handled it and like flexible with me, and like we have just figured it all out. So I'm like part-time with Complex now.
Okay. Like how many hours you work with them?
It depends. So like I'll be at the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, and that will be like 5 straight days.
Wow.
But if I have like a busy week, they don't like, ride my ass crazy. So it's like they've been super good about like we just work together when we can. And a lot of the stuff, because some of it's writing, you'll get opportunities just brought to you from outside companies who just want to like partner with Complex. And then if you have time, then I'll just be like, yeah, let's do it. And that's usually an interview, or like the coolest one I did 3 NFL games in one day.
Okay.
Ended in Buffalo.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice. What are you writing about? Are you writing about the fan experience? Like what's
so the only thing that like that opportunity, so like Verizon came to me and was like, we want the article like to go out on Complex, and basically like the trade-off is referencing whatever their promo or their giveaway or whatever they're marketing. I will reference that and like give it a good service within the article.
Okay.
But the creative in the article, like I can do whatever I want. So that one I flipped into like, what was it? Like best NFL markets. And the hook was like, we went from Jets to Ravens to Bills.
Okay.
Like smaller, like started at a huge market, medium market, ended in like a tiny market.
Sure.
But that the day and the games got more fun as the day went on.
That's cool.
Because obviously Buffalo. Yeah. And so unlike baseball where Dodgers, Yankees will be good forever. Because there's no salary cap in baseball. The NFL is awesome because places like Buffalo, Kansas City, Green Bay have incredible experiences and loyal fan bases, and size doesn't matter. It's all about like tradition and shit. So I ranked them and then basically like hooked the whole day into like why I was making that list kind of thing. That's cool. Yeah, it was dope.
That's kind of a good transition to Bleacher Report. So for people that haven't heard the story, why did you get fired? Why did that severance run out? You met Lindsay?
Are you thinking of the hockey thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And for people that don't understand,
I was actually wondering if you're going to ask me about that because it has an update that I have not shared yet.
Yeah, well, let's get the update.
Okay, so technically I got laid off. Like Bleacher Report had a bunch of layoffs. So Bleacher Report didn't fire me. I got the severance because there were a bunch of layoffs.
Okay, question for you.
But part of it, I mean, they weren't happy with me.
Severance. There's a lot of people that listen to this that might get laid off. Yeah. They might have a severance.
Yeah.
Did you negotiate it? And what percentage of your salary was the severance?
No, I am so lucky. And anytime I hear about people who get laid off now, I am blown away. Bleacher Report gave me 6 months severance.
Holy shit.
And I'd only worked there for 3.5 years.
Dude, that's unheard of.
Oh, I know.
Did you negotiate that or they gave you that?
No, they started with it.
Wow.
And I learned a lot from that whole experience because I thought when I heard 6 months, I mean, obviously I was sad to be like, that company was like kind of a part of my self-identity for like a long time. So I was sad, but I was like, oh, 6 months, I can fucking take my time and like ease into finding what's next.
Sure.
Not how I should have handled it at all. I think, especially just in the media world, like, as you know, that stuff just does not move fast. And that was 2022. So still like the job market was like reeling from COVID, like just a little, and it just wasn't what I thought it would be. Took my time. And I went through interviews that lasted, 2 months, and then they choose the other guy and you're like back to the beginning. And I was very much humbled, but I think looking back, I could have handled it in so many different ways. But I mean, also at the same time, the summer house thing came, and so that was the beauty in it. But
so the NHL story.
So, okay, are you a Sabres guy?
Yeah, try to be.
I know it's
have
tough.
been my whole life, but they're brutal.
Basically, like Bleacher Report, who's owned by Turner,
okay,
acquired NHL rights. And they had this big kickoff call with everyone, and they were like, hey, like Gary Bettman, who's the commissioner of the NHL. People hate all commissioners, but I think he's probably, I'm also super biased, but I think people hate him the most.
Yeah. It's up there. Very high. He gets booed very aggressively.
Yeah. So he hops on. It's just kind of like a let me brag about myself and show you guys how cool my job is and what I've done for the NHL. And I was so bored. And I was like, you know what? Let me ask a question. So I like put a shirt on, unmuted my mic, like turned the camera on. And I was like, Mr. Bettman, my name's Wes from Bleacher Report. Whatever.
How many people are on this call?
Dude, like 400. Probably.
Okay. And for pretty big people.
Yeah. It was all the big dogs at NHL, big dogs from Turner, but it was like a Bleacher Report meets NHL call.
Okay.
And I'm like a producer and a host. So my face is supposed to be at all of these like hockey events.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know the NFL's dealt with this a lot lately, but how are you guys going into this year keeping, hockey the way it's supposed to be played, the way it's been played for years, keeping the violence, keeping the physicality, while also kind of, proving to the public that you care about head safety and you're taking measures to like protect players.
Swinging.
Well, I didn't think it was that bad of a question. Like I because I know the NFL deals with it all the time, and like proving head safety is important to the league is like
it's a great question.
I thought I was like aligning with shit he would like want to say.
Yeah, it's a great question.
And so the word violent, I guess, is one of their trigger words. Yeah, and he freaked the fuck out on me.
No way.
And he goes, hockey, which now I just laugh every time I turn on the TV and dudes are punching each other's teeth out. He goes, hockey is not violent. There's nothing violent about hockey. It's a physical sport, but it's not violent. And then he was like, I guess we need to teach people at Bleacher Report like more about hockey. Like you guys don't know anything, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whoa, like the guy lost it. And so I just was like, got it. Took it on the chin, kind of just like waited for the call to get over and was like, dude, whoa. So I started getting a bunch of slacks from everyone. There was like, great question. He's a bitch, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, cool. So I like, people like thought the question was good. He just kind of got spooked.
Yeah.
Then I get a message from like my boss's boss's that was like, hey, you got to call me. And this was like the day after. And I was like, damn. He was like, dude, the NHL is so mad at us, mad at you. They don't want you around hockey because like you have like created this tension amongst both companies. Like we're pulling you from all hockey events for the rest of the year. And I had shit slated like all the way through. So I was like, did I just get like banned from the NHL? And sorry, I'm like dragging the story on. But so then fast forward Stanley Cup, they have everyone scheduled except like we don't have anyone to cover game 6.
Yeah.
This was when the Avs played the Lightning. It was in Tampa. Okay. And they were like, we are going to have to like ask them if we can send Wes because we don't have anyone else. Yeah. Avs win it in game 6 in Tampa. I was there. No one else. It just so happened that it was the game I had to go to. I was on the ice while they were celebrating, and I took a picture like this, and I tagged Gary Bettman above my head. Posted it. And so HR called me like an hour later and was like,
to flirt with fire in all areas, huh?
Kind of. I just
like
thought
flirt with it.
I was trying to be a journalist, and everyone hated me for it. And I was like, dude, fuck you guys. So I posted that, which that was dumb. And looking back, yeah, I mean, like no one was happy with me for any of that.
When you posted that, what happened?
Like HR hit me up and was like, are you an idiot?
Like we literally let you go to the Stanley Cup. You're banned.
So it's more just, and now just anytime I see him on my TV or whatever, I'll post a picture and write like bitch or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought it was over, right? It's been
Sure.
what is it, 2025 now? That was 3-4 years ago. The Blues hit me up.
Okay.
And we're like, hey, because I'm from Missouri. They were
Yeah.
like, we're going to send you a hockey kit for the Winter Classic. I was like, that's great. Gave him my address, whatever. A few weeks later, someone at BR is like, dude, Fanatics just asked us if you put us on the call because the NHL saw your name on the influencer list and asked to pull you from it.
Holy shit.
So someone higher up at NHL saw my name to get a hockey jersey, and they were like, dude, don't send
Take
anything.
them out.
So my beef with the NHL is back on
Okay.
because they wouldn't let me get a little cute Christmas gift from the Blues, and they told the Blues to
Wow.
scratch my name.
West versus the NHL.
Yeah, it's back.
on.
It's on.
All right, we've never.
Sorry, that took so long. but
That's a wild
back.
story though.
Yeah,
You're
dude.
back. All right, bring me back though to we've never had a journalist on. As
Ooh.
like a journalist for Bleacher Report, give me an idea like what can you make in that career track and like what's the trajectory? Like how do you build your career? there?
I mean, like pay wise,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
great. Dope in your 20s. I also for Bleacher Report wasn't writing. It was like social production.
Okay.
So it's Instagram, TikTok, all the like I'm on site, like here's like what we're gonna like take you around, do an
Yeah.
interview, whatever. It's good in your 20s. Like it was manageable. Like I think at BR I think I was probably making like 90 at the end.
Oh, that's like I would expect it way less for journalism.
I started it
That's pretty
in
good.
Vegas. I moved to Vegas to help them launch BR Betting.
Okay.
And then got sent back to New York after we built that for like a year. That I started at 60, but I was in Vegas, so I didn't like,
Yeah.
it was cheap.
Yeah.
Back to 70K. And then that kind of like grew a little bit. And then because we were on camera, they sort of like threw us a bone and were like, if your face is in X amount of videos, a quarter, then you get.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, yeah. So like when I say 90, that's counting like bonuses that we made for like being on camera. And I think bonuses get taxed like
Yeah, it's high.
45%, something fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I ended like around 90, which was fine, but I didn't really know where to go. Like it's a great job for being in your 20s because you're traveling everywhere. They're paying for it.
Yeah.
The events are, I mean, your access is crazy.
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
in
That
lock.
work
Yeah.
incredible.
I was in the locker room when the Astros won the World
I mean,
Series.
that's
in, like,
incredible. You can't
2022.
beat that. And you're getting paid.
Well, it's
Doing
also
what you love.
crazy too because it's all these journalists, like a bunch of like old white dudes in suits with like their big cameras and microphones, and then just like I think I had
Show
on
up
like
with a Britney Spears shirt.
like
Just,
camo
like,
pants and a
rocking it.
backwards hat.
Have you always had that? Side note, have you like that always been your style? Like just like it's have you always been a vibe?
Dude, I don't know. People really liked it. I think it's not that foreign. I don't think to most people. I think it was foreign to Bravo.
Yeah.
Like
That's fair.
like camo and baggy
Yeah,
pants and
yeah,
like
yeah.
'cause they're just used to Kyle and
Yeah.
Carl who were like
Yeah.
white skinny jeans.
Right.
And Jesse kind of dresses like that too. But like I think that network just has a lot of dudes in their like late 30s who dress like they were born in the 70s. Which they are. Like I can't even fault them. But so that kind of played into my favor too. I didn't really realize that it would, but
That does. Let me ask you about this. So you lose your job at
Yeah.
Bleacher Report. You then get on Summer House.
yeah.
Are you working immediately for Complex Networks, or are you only filming Summer House as a job?
No, I was filming Summer House by myself. Like I was a part of that last season was the job search I was like still going through.
Yeah.
So I actually, and I don't know if anyone thinks this is fake. No one said it, but I couldn't believe that it happened. Complex offered me on a Friday afternoon when I was in the house, and it'd been a part of the summer. I was like, yeah, I got like laid off last year. Like I'm still trying to like figure shit out.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was insecure about it, obviously. So I was like, fuck, I had to go into this house and tell all these like hot girls that I'm literally unemployed.
Yeah.
But they sent me the email on a Friday, and I like jumped in the pool and then I started the Wednesday after we wrapped filming.
Okay.
So it was like Bleacher Report, a few months of like me thinking I had time to like fuck around with
Yeah.
money and not working, and then that ended. Needed something to do. Summer House, the second Summer House ended. Started at Complex.
Okay. So you're working at Complex. Summer House goes. It then airs. It's a little rough. It's good. It's bad.
Yeah.
At any point, do you think about like packing up, leaving New York City, getting out of reality TV? Was there any type of thought like that?
There were probably moments where I was like, fuck, like, do I want to do this? Like, this is just a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
But no, it's also like, I mean, I put myself in that situation. Like, it's my own mess. So
Yeah.
I try to use everything to learn from. But no, it was never like to that point, I would say. And I mean, also everyone on the show was very like, we've all had our moments where people like didn't like us. Like, you'll be good. Like so, I mean,
you have to fall
those people were like, everyone in the house was like pretty supportive too. And I was just like, dude, whatever. But I will say though, I think it's very important, and maybe not to everyone, but for me, to keep a job outside of this show to like keep you grounded in like real life. And that way you're not like, I mean, I
what's interesting is I wonder how, I'm thinking about the cast. How many people have that?
It's so weird now because it's like people make money outside the show, but I mean, Kyle, very much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very much
Kyle,
a real job.
Paige.
Yeah. I think
Jesse was in finance, and then I think he's doing this.
Jesse got fired, though.
Yeah.
They gave him the boot.
Yeah.
Carl,
reality TV and finance doesn't work.
A lot of people, I think, on TV, like, want to be entrepreneurs and just think that because you can attach your name to it, that it'll work. It's a lot of work. I don't think that will ever be my route.
What do you think 5 years from now? Like, what does the dream look like?
I would like to elevate the interviews that I am currently doing.
So when you look at like 5 years, though, your career picture, it's not the Wes brand, it's not Summer House, it's elevating your interviews as like a journalist.
Well, I'd like them to be one and the same if possible.
Okay.
But no, I don't want to be. If I meet someone out and they say, "What do you do?" I say, "I am a producer at Complex." Like I'll let the fucking TV stuff work its way to the surface if it does, but I'll never lead with that.
You don't lead with that.
But I mean, and I don't think this is necessarily true per se, but like if like all the people who have been on this show for so long, having done it for 1 year, it would be really hard to do this for 10 years and then not get wrapped up into who you are because of this show. Like aligning them together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Carl or Kyle, like from somewhere, like because we film it for 2 months, but the narratives and people like associating you with the show are forever. And so I don't know, if I wasn't working and like all I kind of did was this Summer House shit, like it would be hard to not self-identify in that way.
Yeah.
And then I think that probably makes it harder when, I don't know, people have shit to talk. Like, and then you're kind of like, oh, this is me, even though it's not. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. As you continue to move your career into getting better interviews and building this up, I mean, one thing that caught my eye was after the season, you'll have to tell me about it. Like you almost had your own show where like Hawk 2 on, and all these girls, you're going on dates, all this stuff. Was that through Complex? Or was that a different show?
So this is part of why earlier when I was like, they've been awesome and like leaned into it a little bit. After the reunion aired, they were like, we want to do a dating show with you because you've like been through a full circle of dating with people, loving it, hating it, whatever. We think it would be cool for you to like interview women while you go on dates and like relate to them about what dating while in the spotlight or being famous is like.
Yeah.
And so we shot 3 episodes in the fall and then paused it just because it's like it's like winter.
You had Hawk 2.
Hawk 2. Haley Welsh, we call her.
Haley Welsh, sorry.
She's trying to distance. She's in trouble now.
She's in some serious trouble.
She's in trouble.
Finance trouble. I got to get her on the podcast.
Dude, yeah. I mean, there's no way it was her though. I mean, I'm sure her team was like do the Bitcoin shit and like.
Yeah. That's true. It's probably the team behind her.
She's 21. Like that's the craziest part.
Yeah, she doesn't. How'd the date go with her?
Fun. We like obviously she's young, so it was not like I wasn't like courting her per se in that way, like romantically. But I did want to like get to know her and ask her questions that weren't Hawk 2, like just the same shit. And she opened up towards the end, but we were in Nashville and like went fishing on a boat and stuff like that. The second one was a woman named India Love.
So there wasn't a second date with Hawk 2?
No. She was busy. That was like the peak of her craziness.
Yeah, she's killing it. Like not now, but she was killing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the second?
Second was a woman named India Love. Yeah. She's a Los Angeles influencer, I guess you could say, but like got super famous on like Tumblr and like dated a lot of like rappers and athletes and stuff. And so we tried to pick like different corners of people to like do the show.
Okay.
And then the third was Joy Taylor, who is a host on Fox Sports right now, who also is like, there's shit going on there too. So
there's just shit going on everywhere.
Dude, it's
everyone's just getting fucking sniped and like in trouble and walking in shit.
Yeah, but I love Joy too. Like that was fun. That was the only date where I felt.
Was there a second date?
No. So the point is like, well, the hook on the show is like, would you do a second date? And that's kind of like, okay. But that was the only one where I was like, if camera crew, if like production left, I think we would stay and like get to know each other more.
Now, when you do that, are you, because you're bringing in your celebrity, you're then bringing in celebrities.
Yeah.
Does Complex pay you more? Do you get some kind of bonus for that?
Complex it's so bizarre right now because I'm a part of like 3 different departments.
Yeah.
So if it's a show like that, it's a part of production. Like that's production's payroll.
Okay.
If I'm writing something, that's the editorial payroll. And if it's something that goes on social, that's the social payroll.
Interesting.
So it's like really weird figuring out, because obviously if a department like doesn't have to pay, then they would rather just be like, no, you're like you're social, like have social pay you. So we've been trying to figure that out for the longest time, how to like balance this out, but it's just kind of more like a la carte now.
Okay.
But so yeah, so I got paid like per episode for that. Cool. And so we're trying to like line up, more once the weather's better and things like shake out.
More dates. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But speaking of dates, going back to summer, I want to think about just the house a little bit. Some of the financial things behind the scenes. Do you guys have what do you have to pay for?
Good question.
Like when you guys go to the bars and stuff, are you paying? Like how's that?
Yeah, that people always find that super surprising, and I feel like it's not as complicated as people think. Like it is a reality TV show, so like especially when you're sharing a house, like what are things that you would fight with your friends about on a vacation? Not fight with your friends, but like could potentially cause resentment or tiffs.
I think I'm gonna go back to like college days. Like,
yes.
Right now it feels like that. But college days, you're like, don't eat my groceries. Or you're like, okay, who's getting the beer today? Like,
right.
Like who's buying the booze? Things like that.
It hasn't come up since I've been there. But like I know Kyle and Hannah Berner a few years ago. Huge blow up fight about like taking the trash out. And like
interesting.
It is real in the sense that like we are paying for the dinners and like paying for groceries. And if someone skips volunteering for groceries,
for all the dinners and stuff,
a lot of times they'll be like, we, this place is giving us like $100 credit or whatever. But yeah, and they want to see who's gonna take it this time, who's whatever. And I'll also say it's nice, like our first summer, like Jesse and I would offer to like pay for stuff and they'd be like, you guys are new, like we'll handle it.
Oh,
like,
it's not like rookie treatment.
No. So that was cool. But it is very like someone has to order groceries every week and it alternates. And if you hide from doing that, like someone will be like, have you fucking ordered groceries? Like it's your turn. Like there are little things that I think that are unique to our show that you wouldn't get on any other show that just does like pop-up shooting.
Yeah, most shows like that, all the groceries would be paid for.
Well, yeah, but they're not even like sharing I guess there's a zillion other shows where people share a house.
Like in the Bachelor Mansion, all the food obviously is taken care of. We actually had to cook it. We had to cook it and clean, but it's all taken care of.
Yeah.
It's all paid for.
Yeah.
What about when you guys, because the night we were there, when you guys were filming, we all went to like the club and stuff. And
that was fun.
Kyle was like, we're good, man. You don't have to.
I got
you were lit that night.
Dude.
You were bombed.
I don't know if they're going to show the morning after. Woke up. When I'm hungover, it's usually like it's like a headache and like kind of nauseous. I'm not like a throw up guy.
No, me either.
Dude, face buried in the toilet all morning.
We
go downstairs for breakfast. And I laid my head my forehead on the table while they all talked for 30 minutes. Couldn't lift my head up.
Wow.
I don't know what happened.
I feel honored to be part of that.
Dude, that was my worst hangover of 2024.
Wow.
That
I feel good to be part of that. Let's go.
Dude, Jesse had to pull over on the highway on the way home.
Holy shit.
It was really like, it took me out for like 2 days.
But like that, who pays for that? Does the show pick that up? Or does the club just comp it?
Did they bring us? Did we film in the club that day? Yeah, we did.
You did.
So then in that case, I think production and the club would like have an arrangement.
Okay, they have an
because they also wanted to like look, like say that night all of us are like being cheap or whatever. We're like, we're not buying stuff. And it like looks stupid. So they do that. But then if we go to a club or whatever, they'll film for not that long. And then we kind of just like party after cameras go down.
Yeah.
Because it's also like you don't want to drive there and like start drinking and then just like leave. But then, I mean, a lot, like most of the shit that we are like actively like swiping our cards for.
When you guys do other stuff like BravoCon or you go back and watch What Happens Live, do you ever get like talent fees for that or no?
I think you get a hair and makeup.
Like a budget or something.
Yeah.
But it's all part of your...
I haven't done a BravoCon though, so I have no
gotcha.
clue how that works.
I feel like you'd kill it at BravoCon.
It looks exhausting.
Yeah.
It looks exhausting.
Do you have any interest in doing other reality shows?
If something felt like natural and like right, I would
What
do
do you
it.
think would...
But I mean, like this
dating
show...
or competition?
Dating, I don't think I'd want to do that
Yeah.
because that just like... I mean, you would know more than any... I mean, like
Yeah.
how... I watch The Bachelor because I think it's so... I love how it is almost like an identical script throughout this. It's just like
Yeah.
different faces and people, and like
Yeah.
it just gets moderated a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's always like the first person to say I love you, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to dating, then it becomes competing sort of. And I like would love to do the challenge or whatever all those
Yeah.
MTV people do.
Yeah.
That shit looks dope.
Yeah, like
I would love
competition
to do
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Dating for competition, I don't think I would do well, honestly.
Okay, gotcha. Not your thing.
I don't know. I just like are you like how often do you talk about what filming The Bachelor was like?
Oh, I talk about often.
Do
Yeah.
you feel like people got pigeonholed into like what needed to like happen next?
It's actually it's funny you bring this up because
I know the
I'm
psychology is super interesting.
Yeah, psychology.
How do you
is
they kind of
super-
like
they
hide you?
hide you in the bubble.
Yeah.
But what was interesting, just like I'm super analytical. So when we showed up to your filming,
Mhm.
I'm looking at all the cameras, the producers. I'm trying to understand like the business side of it.
Mhm.
I couldn't believe how unproduced it was.
Yeah.
You guys are just sitting there talking.
Yeah.
Like with The Bachelor, there were tons of cameras, huge production, and the producers are doing their job. They're like, all right, what do
Yeah.
let's get this conversation going. You guys were just sitting there like this,
Chilling.
everyone's just chilling.
Chilling.
And I said to Kyle, I go, Kyle, like, why aren't there like you guys just sit here? He goes, dude, they get enough content. These
Yeah.
cameras are on 24/7.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to worry about it. So you don't feel produced at all in the show?
No, but our show you literally couldn't because it's 3 straight days. So if you were trying to like perform in any way,
Yeah.
you'd be so exhausted.
Yeah.
And then 2, we also have like we are being filmed when production is gone.
Yeah.
Because there's cameras in the house and
Right,
like in the
right,
backyard
right.
and stuff.
They're catching all that.
So like they have enough shit for it to be like very genuine.
Yeah.
And also I think when you are, again, unlike shows where you show up to have lunch and then go home, we are together for 3 straight days.
Yeah.
Things like will bubble naturally like how they normally would
Okay.
without having to like be told one thing or the other.
Okay.
But usually, I mean, like before we go in, they'll be like, Jesse, if you're feeling this way, blah, 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 like
Yeah.
ask Wes, whatever. But I don't know. We just film for so long that they don't really have to like try that hard.
That makes sense.
It all just happens.
How long? So we know season 9's out right now. How long until you'll find out if you're on season 10?
It's like last minute.
Like, so you won't know till last minute.
No.
And do you worry about that? Like, do you get like nervous about it?
No, because then once you start like caring or like needing to be
Yeah.
on it, then I think you like lose yourself. If I started worrying like I hope I want to be on next season, then I would
Yeah.
probably act differently in the house.
And then you probably wouldn't be on next season.
But I
That's
think
different.
though that's why, at least I think that's why the first season for me went well, is because I was like, like I just was doing me. Like I wasn't trying to like be drama or do whatever.
Yeah.
Which I also tell this story, which kudos to like Bravo, whoever cast me, whatever. I was like very pushy throughout the interview process where I was like, I don't want to do this if I need to be like the redneck guy from Missouri or like the dumb slutty jock or whatever. I was like, I like want to just do it and like be myself.
Wes.
And I think they liked that I kind of like, I put my foot down before they
They
did.
did. Yeah.
And that worked. I just have to learn how to do a fucking reunion and then we'll be fine.
You're going to kill it this year. All right, I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Hit me.
So let's assume you got your whole cast there. We're going to talk a little bit business. You can partner with one person in the house to invest in something. Who are you investing with? One person.
I just feel like Kyle is so already
Sure.
like
Sharp dude.
He knows how the business world works. I just think but he's also like jaded in the business world.
Yeah. Okay.
Like he's got like strong feelings certain types of way. I'm going to go Jesse just because I think we're similar in age, similar in like careers right now. I think we could do it and be able to like, no one would feel like they have the upper hand on the other person.
Okay, final answer, Jesse. Here's this one. You got to buy stock in one of the people. Can't buy you. You got to buy stock because you know what's going up. Who you buying stock in? Whose shares are you buying in season 9?
Oh, I don't want to. I shouldn't have answered Jesse for the first one, but it's Jesse. That's the easiest one. It's Jesse too. He's in a train wreck. It's awesome.
Wait, so would that
remember when I was like, I got to sit back and like watch for once?
Yeah. But my question, so when you buy shares and something, you want it to go up. So you think his value goes up from the train wreck?
Because reality TV, though, your value can go up if you're kind of like going through shit, though.
It's true. Yeah. Okay.
Like he will be trend, like hashtag Jesse Solomon. That will be the trending hashtag.
Okay. All right. So you're buying stock. Now shorting stock is betting against it. So you think like this season,
dude, people probably want to say me. Wait, I want to answer. You know who else I want to buy stock in?
Who?
Can I?
Yeah.
Pregnant Lindsay's. I loved her.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought she was so fun.
Do you think she'll be back for season 10?
There's no way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless they bring the baby.
Yeah.
I don't think I can babysit. I don't know how that works.
Okay, so you want to buy stock in Pregnant Lindsay. You want to buy stock in Jesse. You want to partner with Jesse. Who you shorting? Tough season.
Oh, you know who I kind of beat? I had tiffs with Gabby this season.
Okay.
We just kind of both were like, shut up. Yeah. I'm not really, like I said, not really that confrontational person, but we had a couple moments.
Now, how about this is one. You're this Apprentice. Remember the show? Apprentice.
You're fired.
You're fired. That was actually a pretty good impression there. All right. You got to fire one person on the show. Who you firing?
Oh, fuck.
You're the boss.
Okay, well, for me, then it's probably Sierra, just so we can get the like awkward shit out of the house, Can
I ask you a question on that whole thing? This is more just like curiosity.
Yeah.
From what I remember with watching it, you were committed in a relationship or you weren't?
No, we never had, because we weren't hooking up for the longest time. And I was like, I don't think, and the thing is though too, she never said otherwise either. I think we both were on the same page. Just like if we aren't hooking up, she wasn't going to ask me to be exclusive to her if we weren't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you were never but you met each other's families.
She met my family. No, after the show ended, we were like, we never like had the talk. When we had the talk is when we like broke up kind of.
Yeah.
I think we were exclusive. I mean, I don't know what she was doing. I never asked her. So she's not that type of person. So
what do you do like in a situation like that where like it's connecting to your business, your career, but it's also like, you're committed, but you're not committed. Like, what would you have done different? Like, what to prevent the mayhem? What would you have done?
The family thing, I really fucked up.
Introducing her to your family.
Yeah,
because once you do that, even if you don't have a conversation of commitment, it's like
that is in its own way like a gesture,
like a formal sit down. Yeah.
But what I learned from that was, like, to me, I still don't think that like it didn't change anything for me. I needed to know her better, know what that would mean to her. And then like, if I wasn't ready to then like, let's like ride off into the sunset, I shouldn't have like booked that trip.
Okay.
Okay. And I think that's where I like screwed up, but we stopped. Yeah. So,
all right.
But that's for sure where it was. I mean, I think we were like pretty much on the same page, at least like in communication for most of it. I think that was where, but that was 3 months before we like really stopped talking. So it wasn't like we just like went home and then the next day I was like, never mind.
Okay.
We just got to a place where we were in separate places.
I like it. All right. Hey, you live, you learn, you grow. Couple business finance questions and we'll wrap up here.
Yeah.
What's one thing you spend too much money on? You spend too much money on. What's that item? How much you spend on it?
Wow. I mean, I'm sure everyone says this though. I don't want to say something that everyone else says. Plane tickets, honestly, probably right now.
Okay, plane tickets.
If I can
justify, first class guy,
I'll never book a first. No. So actually, in a way, I mean, I still am like buying coach seats, but I fly enough that I usually bare minimum I'll get the Delta Comfort.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
How often do people say DoorDash?
Yeah, Uber Eats and DoorDash probably top one. So plane tickets is good. What about, have you ever had any type of issues with debt?
No. My parents are very modest with their spending, I'll say.
Okay.
I didn't really realize that until I got older.
Okay.
Very much like the only thing that my parents ever took out money for was a home, like not even cars.
Yeah. All right. And best investment, if you look at your career, the best investment you ever made?
Both times I moved across the country. So college,
Okay.
which that was, I mean, I think I like earned, I mean, that wasn't like just pocket money for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I moved to New York right after I graduated, didn't have a job, and like slept on couches and shit. And so I think that, I mean, that is some financial investment, but that was a lot of like time investment, uncomfortability investment. Like I think you can invest more than just money, but
100%.
That was like a big one.
From sleeping on couches to now one of the stars of Summer House. It's been a cool ride. It's going to be fun to keep watching you. Wes, it's been great.
If people are listening to this, not watching it, you have the sickest cardigan on, and I've been admiring it this whole time.
And I'm admiring your Britney shirt.
Dude,
so guys, go check out.
What brand is that?
What do you think it is? I'll tell you.
Is it expensive?
No.
That's another thing. Actually, while we're talking about money, you were asking me about swag earlier.
Yeah.
You can have swag and you don't have to buy expensive shit. I want people to know that. It's probably maybe easier for a guy, but I like buy shit on eBay every day.
Oh, really? Maybe that's your trading secret. This is just Abercrombie.
Oh, honestly, this shirt might be Abercrombie.
Okay, let's go. The boys though.
No, they're crushing it though.
All right, we got to wrap with a trading secret though. So it's like it's special to you. It's a trading secret. Could be life, finance, business. Could be a quote. Could be something you live by. But given your experience, maybe specifically even the last 2 years, like what's a trading secret you give our listeners?
I mean, for me, I think a lot of my life success has just been not taking yourself too serious. I think you need to be like being confident and being cocky are like very different. I think believe in yourself, but don't treat yourself like, I don't know, like not changing up. I get really offended when people say like, have you changed? Are you different now? I'm like, no, brother, just stick to you. Like, but you got to where you are by being yourself.
Yeah.
Always like stick to that. That sounds so corny. I realize. I think it's cooler to be like under the radar and then people can like find out other shit about you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think my trading secret I've learned from you is like perspective of things. Like when you were going through this shit, it probably like felt like just absolute hell. Like the world was ending. Yeah. But even when you were talking about it, you're like, listen, it was like, no, business didn't impact us. It was a breakup. Like it just didn't work out. Yeah. No one did anything malicious. It just didn't work out. Yeah. And so like perspective and not taking yourself so seriously and just like, it is what it is.
I mean,
you're not perfect.
It's corny too, but I do think if you treat people respectfully and like are a good person and like easy to work with, I think that helps business way more than fucking anything else does.
Yeah, I like it.
The first thing, like the team I work with now, he was like, dude, these people, if you're not a nightmare and you're not a dick, I think people will work with you forever. Just like be kind.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure. I love it. Well, Wes, everyone that's listening right now, they want to go follow along with what you're doing. Where they find it all.
Dude,
the NHL.
TikTok's like Westy Wilson or something stupid. And then Instagram is just Westling Conrad, which is my government first name and middle name.
There you go. Your government first name and middle name.
Boom. And like also, if you care that much, go follow Complex socials.
Give it a shot.
At Complex Sports.
And go check out your potential future dating show on there.
Dude, yeah.
And if not there, maybe a competition show.
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll compete.
Wes,
go Chiefs.
Thank you so much for being on Trading Secrets. Go Bills.
Appreciate you.